So Louis C.K. is back officially, and I'm fucking stoked about it. You know, he, like, of my top, say, 10 fucking comedians, he's definitely in that whole, like, he's definitely in the upper top 5. You know, his comedy is head and shoulders above most comedians at this point. So, you know, I'm obviously, I'm ecstatic that he's fucking back. You know, I can't wait to see, you know, his, the way he sort of brings it all back, you know, knowing, or not really knowing, because I don't know Louis C.K., but based off of his comedy and his show and stuff like that, I'm certain he's going to address what happened on stage. He's not going to pretend like it didn't happen, but I'm interested to see how he's going to make it funny. Because I know I mean, if anybody can make that situation funny, it's definitely him. So, you know, of course I'm excited, but, you know, there's all the fucking sensitive Sallys and the mealy mouth fucking Marys. They're all upset that, you know, that he's back and, you know, okay, let's have this discussion. And by the way, I'm eating, again, you know, on this podcast, I'm eating breakfast. I'm not having quinoa this time. This time it's eggs and, turkey sausage with a little bit of cheese. Not on the sausage, but on the eggs. It's fucking delicious. But let's have this conversation because somebody needs to clarify what is the appropriate amount of punishment for a you know, for these incidents, right? I mean, certainly you wouldn't say that a guy that rubbed one out in front of you is the same as, say, a guy who fucking grabbed you and shoved you in the back alley and fucking raped you. I mean, obviously there's levels to the sort of things that have happened. And you can't just, you know, do a fucking blanket you know, punishment, because sometimes shit is not fair. Like, you know, I'm sure that there are cases out there where, like, say there's like an 18-year-old boy who was in a relationship with a girl prior to turning 18. And she just happened to be a couple of years younger than him. And they're still in that relationship. He turns 18 and then somebody's fucking father or mother or whatever is, you know, horrified by it. And then, you know, decides to call what he's doing statutory rape when it really isn't. You know, yeah, you know, and the technically or the fucking according to the laws, yeah, it is. But if they were in a relationship prior to him turning 18, what was he supposed to do? I'm 18. Well, you know, we've been together for a few years, so I guess I got to tell you to fuck off. I mean, it's ridiculous. And to punish a kid for that, like, and to put him on the same status as like a fucking sexual predator is, I think we can all agree, is fucking wrong, right? So the punishment needs to sort of fit the circumstance, right? Louis C.K., he doesn't have his fucking show. He lost his sponsorships. He hasn't been able to do comedy, which I know was fucking killing him, because he is one of those guys that loves the fucking stage. He loves to do stand up. So, you know, they took all that away from him for about a year. Has he done his fucking time? Has he served his fucking time? Is what he did in comparison to, say, what a fucking Harvey Weinstein did? You know, the same thing with the dude from, what's the name? Kevin Spacey that, you know, once grabbed a dude's fucking junk. Like, should he never work again because he did that? Is that on the same level of, say, you know, ripping somebody's clothes off and forcing them to fucking blow you or whatever it is? Right? Is it the fucking same? You know, of course I'm being rhetorical here because obviously it's fucking not. Right? Yes, it was inappropriate. Yes, you know, maybe he should have lost his, you know, I'm talking about Kevin Spacey and also, you know, Louis C.K. Yes, maybe he should have lost this fucking show, but his entire fucking well-being for the rest of his fucking life, really? And I'm not 100% clear about what happened during the Louis C.K. thing. I don't think he, like, from what I understand, right? He was in a room with these two women comedians. He whips out his dick and starts, rubbing one out. Maybe he thinks it's funny. Maybe maybe he's just, I don't know. I don't know what his fucking motivation was. Was he blocking was he preventing them from leaving the room and he forced them to just sit there and watch him? Because if he did that, okay, maybe he needs to stay away a little bit longer. But if he didn't do that, right? And he just, he fucking thought it was funny or whatever his fucking intentions were. He pulls out his dick, he rubs one out, and the women fucking, they stay there and watch it. Why? I mean, if they're that fucking horrified, why do they stay in the fucking room if they're not being held there? Now, I know that some people will say, well, they felt like he had, like he fucking held all the keys to their fucking success or their careers or whatever it is. Maybe they felt that way. Maybe. But I don't know. Like I gotta say, if I'm in a room with somebody and they're not fucking like holding me there and they start doing something really fucking disgusting, I'm getting the fuck out that room. And yes, I know that they're women and there's the whole, power, the power thing and, maybe they felt afraid or whatever. Although I don't know. I mean, obviously I don't know Louis, C.K. Most of us fucking don't. Right. He doesn't appear to be the kind of guy that would, they would make people fear for their life. He just doesn't give off that fucking vibe. Harvey Weinstein. Yeah, I could definitely see him being like, look, if you don't fucking blow me, I'm gonna, you're never gonna work in this town again. I could definitely see that from Harvey Weinstein. I don't see that in Louis C.K. And I think most people, if they're gonna be honest, don't see that either. So at some point, you have to maybe question, was the reason that these women, because like apparently this story, the what Louis did wasn't like a new thing or like it was unheard of. This is actually something that people have known about for years, because it happened a long time ago. Even at least from what I understand, before he was really, really fucking famous, or maybe it was when he had a show. I don't know exactly, but I don't think he was as big as he is now. Where was I going with this? Fuck, I had a fucking, a pretty well thought out fucking thought there for a second. And it just disappeared. Oh yeah, this isn't like something new, right? This is, according to, what fucking people say on the internet, apparently this has been known for a long time. And, like it wasn't a fucking secret, right? So is it possible, just follow me here. Is it possible that even though even though that fucking story was already known, it wasn't a fucking secret, but because the Me Too, movement came along and these women that, never made it in comedy saw an opportunity to maybe get a little bit of attention for something that actually did happen to them. I won't take that away, but is it possible that there are some women out there who just see an opportunity to get a little bit of attention? Can we at least acknowledge that there are people out there that are fucking attention seekers, right? I mean, there's fucking plenty of examples, right? There's Paris Hilton back during when she was a fucking, famous for, I don't know, having fucking the last name Hilton. I'm still not sure why she was fucking a big deal. You got the fucking whole, fucking weasel creature Kardashians that are famous because Kim once fucking got dick down on a fucking, on camera, that will do any fucking thing, any and everything to get fucking attention. You got Kanye West, who will just come out and say the most outlandish fucking shit, you know, to fucking generate buzz. These types of people exist in our society. So is it possible that there's also some women, not even most, just some, that the stuff that you know, that maybe something didn't happen to them, but they see an opportunity to pretend like they did because they're feeling, they're feeling some kind of way, and they feel like they need a little bit of fucking attention. And, you know, the best way to get attention is to go on social media and talk about how something fucking horrific happened to you. Or you'll have the people that are like, oh, I'm going to the fucking doctors in the morning for surgery, but they won't talk about what it is. Right. So, because they want people to be like, oh no, what's wrong with you? Is there something wrong? Should we be concerned? They're just people that do shit like that. And even though this actually did happen to these women, it wasn't a fucking secret. It wasn't a secret. People already fucking knew about it. But because this movement comes along, it's like, oh, here's our opportunity. I mean, this is just what if, this is hypothetical. Maybe it's like, well, our fucking comedy careers never took off. And we feel like, this is our opportunity to maybe get back out there, or to at least, point the finger at why our jokes fucking suck. That we had been so fucking traumatized by a guy rubbing one out that we decided to quit fucking comedy. Cause that is basically what happened. And I gotta say, there are a lot of women that have gone through more horrific shit than that. And they didn't give up on their dream. Now, am I saying that, this is their fault? No. If they're traumatized, they were fucking traumatized. But we gotta stop just fucking like not examining shit. Okay, we got to stop pretending like these possibilities don't exist. That there aren't some women that, or even some men that just, they see an opportunity to get a little bit of fucking attention, and they take their fucking shot. Like those ladies that accused, what's his face from the fucking American Idol guy, what the fuck is his name? Ryan Seacrest, that they accused him. And, it turns out that it didn't fucking happen at all. And people were people were dismissing him. They were like, oh, fuck that guy. Fuck him. Fuck his smile and all of that shit. People were fucking ready to just end his entire fucking career. And then it turns out the ladies fucking lied, and it was complete fucking bullshit. You can't tell me that there aren't some fucking cases of this happening. Even with celebrities. Well, really, because let's be realistic. We don't really give a shit about the average fucking person, right? We only care if something happened to a celebrity, or if a celebrity did something to somebody else. Because, that's how fucking ridiculous we've become as a society, right? Were these ladies being held against their will and forced to watch him rub one out and fucking nut on his stomach? I don't know. Because even that, right? They said, or the story is that he fucking rubbed one out and he fucking busted on his stomach, which implies that he's probably laying down, right? Or at the very least, he's sitting down. So if he's sitting down, unless he's sitting in front of the fucking door, I have to assume they could have walked out at any fucking point. I mean, maybe. I don't know. It's still wrong what he fucking did. But we can't just automatically be like, nope, they say this shit happens. They say that this is the reason they quit comedy, so therefore guilty. And he's guilty, but what is the appropriate amount of time? When will it be acceptable for some of these people who did, rather minor fucking things? When is it going to be can somebody just decide on, can we categorize, depending on what happened, this is the amount of fucking punishment you deserve? Like, if you forced yourself on somebody, you know, and you held like significant power, like a Harvey Weinstein, right? Like, yeah, definitely your fucking life should be over. I don't mean you should be killed, but you definitely shouldn't be able to make any more fucking money, you know. But if you rub one out in front of somebody and they choose to fucking sit there and watch it, yeah, it's fucked up. But do you deserve a life sentence of basically no longer ever being able to pursue your fucking dream? Is it? I mean, can we just can we have shit in context? Can we just fucking agree that this sort of one solution fits all isn't the right way to go? You know, yeah, I'm a little bit biased because I like Louis C.K. Yeah, I might not be taking what happened to them. Sorry. Just my eggs are getting fucking cold. I might not be taking what happened to these two comedian ladies. I might not be taking it as serious as they are. You know, I'll admit to that. Yeah, I'm biased a little bit. Not so much that I'm like, well, you know, he did nothing wrong. You know, I'm not one of those fucking people. I feel like, okay, he's been away for about a year. That's, you know, it's good enough, right? He was one of the few fucking people that actually, you know, apologized, right? And they didn't, and it wasn't one of those apologies like, well, I'm sorry that you felt, you know, X amount away or whatever. Like, it wasn't one of those fucking phony apologies, right? So, like, here's just a sort of side note. If somebody apologizes to you, right, like they did something that hurt you, and if they apologize and their apology consists of some form of, well, I'm sorry that you felt that way, that isn't a fucking apology. That is basically what I thought, you know, what I said or did. I completely fucking, you know, feel like it was right for me to do so. And you're just upset about it. And I'm sorry that you feel upset about it. Right? Like if somebody gives you an apology like that, that's not an actual apology. And that's not the sort of apology Louis C.K. gave. He gave, you know, he fucking owned up to what he fucking did. He didn't put it on them in any fucking way. And a lot of these guys who have been accused of, doing similar shit or worse, a lot of them haven't fucking said anything. I mean, has Harvey Weinstein ever said, well, fuck, you know, I'm sorry for what I did? Has he done that? I mean, the guy, you know, what he did was fucking atrocious. And I'm sure there are other people or other movie producers or people high up in Hollywood in the music industry or whatever that, you know, that have done, you know, some shit on the same level as him. I'm just saying that Louis C.K. is one of the few that actually was like, you know what? I fucked up. I did something disgusting. You know, it was shitty of me to do so. I'm sorry. You know, so at what point are people going to accept his apology? You may be still upset with him, but does he deserve a lifetime of banishment? Should he no longer be able to provide for his family because you're upset about it? And like one of the weirdest things that I fucking saw, right, was there was like a couple of dudes. There was like this one male comedian guy that I've never fucking heard of, and I'm willing to bet that, you know, he's not as, I mean, he's probably, I don't know, you know, obviously I don't know every fucking comedian, but I know who the funny ones are, and I've never heard of this fucking guy. Right. And he made some post, it was like, you know, this is ridiculous. You know, he you know, you guys might be willing to welcome him back and all of that, but he's not, you know, his presence makes us feel unsafe. And it's like, us? Really? Is he fucking trying to come after you? Like what is that even fucking about? You know, it just sounds fucking weird, right? Like you're legitimately afraid Louis C.K. is gonna fucking do something to you. I mean, if it was a woman, I'd be like, okay, yeah, that makes fucking total sense. You know, and oddly enough, there were quite a few women that were like, welcome back, Louis, you know. But when dudes say shit like that, it's like, ugh, are you still technically considered a man at that point? You know, and I mean, I know that there are some men out there that legitimately are allies to the women's movement. I consider myself one. I definitely, think it's fucking bullshit that you don't get paid, the same, for the same work that a man does. I absolutely fucking am, I'm on your side on that. And absolutely, you should not have to fucking, feel like you can't dress the way you want or you shouldn't have to walk down the street and fucking get catcalled. I'm 100%, on your side in regards to that. I also am 100% on your side that if something fucking happens to you, you should be able to come forward and fucking say it. But there are also some people, some feminists, some women that have taken shit to the fucking extreme. When, I don't know, I wish I had a fucking example, it would be a good idea that when you're going to say some shit like that you actually have something to back it up with. But I don't know. We all know that these people exist. So can we at least stop fucking pretending like they don't? Can we have a legitimate conversation? I mean, didn't it come out? Did I already say this shit? Because I've actually fucking stopped and started this podcast a couple of times. So if I'm repeating something that I already fucking said, I apologize. But, like Asia Argento, that the lady that was with Anthony Bourdain, it just came out that it turns out she fucking like sexually molested or some shit, some underage actor when he was a kid. And did I already fucking talk about this? I don't know. I apologize. I really do. If I'm fucking like repeating something, I legitimately fucking apologize. It just, I have stopped and started this fucking podcast a few times, so I'm not quite sure what what's been said and what hasn't. But anyway, basically came out that she did that, and there were some people that were outraged about it, but it didn't seem like the same level of fucking outrage just wasn't there, right? It just was like, well, she did something, so she should be punished. And that was kind of it, right? But Louis C.K. comes, he does one show at the Cellar, and it's like, oh, how dare he fucking, come back on stage and do and pursue his fucking, his dream. Like, how dare he? And, you hear people like, oh, you should fucking boycott the Cellar, which this shit ain't gonna fucking happen. The people that go to the fucking Cellar in New York are not, they're not your fucking typical, social media shitheads that are just, they're feigning fucking outrage at everything. They're there for one reason only, and it's the fucking laugh. And yeah, I mean, I'm sure there's going to be, one or two people there that are fucking upset. But it's just like, I don't know. Like there needs to be like levels of punishment. It can't be this just fucking one solution, fits all sort of a thing. He rubbed one out in front of some women. He did his apology. He stayed away for about a year. I think it's good now. I mean, yeah, it's not forgotten. Yeah, it's still fucking disgusting what he did. But I think it's okay for him to continue to fucking pursue his dream. Like I said, you wouldn't fucking say that the kid that was in a relationship with a girl prior to turning 18 turns 18, the girl happens to be a year or two younger than him, and suddenly now he's a fucking sexual offender or whatever. Like I think we all agree that that's kind of fucking bullshit, right? There needs to be like circumstances, right? Now, if he was 18 and then he fucking hooked up with somebody under his age, well then, okay, yeah, maybe you could, not even maybe, you could say that, yeah, okay, he's definitely, preying upon, younger or underage fucking girls. But if he was in a fucking relationship and he just happens to turn fucking 18, I don't think that's the fucking same. And I don't think you do either. So can we please get some fucking perspective? You might not like Louis C.K., but I'm willing to bet that you probably weren't a huge fan of him in the fucking first place. You probably weren't. And the guy that fucking was like, oh, he's making us feel unsafe. I don't know why, if you're hoping to get ahead in the fucking, as a comedian, I don't know why you would take that stance. I mean, you can acknowledge that what he did was fucking disgusting, but I'm pretty sure you don't personally feel, like fearful. You might now because the fucking king is back. You might now because you made a fucking public statement that was fucking ridiculous. At least looking at it from your fucking perspective. I'm pretty sure you are safe. Fucking guy that I know isn't listening to this podcast. And I mean, I don't know. I think I was fucking questioning his manhood there. Oh yeah, I was like, yeah, there are men that are legitimately on your side, ladies, but there's also some men that will fucking say and do anything to appear to be an ally. I've talked about that on this podcast before. And these are the guys that most women never see coming, right? They're convinced that the fucking gross ones, the ones that'll do some shit like fucking whip their dick out and rub one out or will fucking rape them or whatever. Like, they're convinced that those guys, you can spot them a mile away. Meanwhile, they've got this guy that's like, oh yeah, I fucking, I'll say anything you want me to say. I'll do anything you want me to do just as long as you fucking pay attention to me. And if I can get you paying attention to me long enough, if I can make you feel like I'm on your side, well enough, maybe you'll give me some fucking booty. Those are the guys that women never see fucking coming. Those are the true fucking predators. Well, no, I mean, obviously the rapists and shit, they're just another form of fucking predator, right? But they're the ones you don't see fucking coming. And I would be very suspect of somebody that says, as a comedian, I feel fearful to be on stage when when this guy is allowed into the fucking room. I'd be very fucking suspicious of that guy's fucking motives. Because I'm willing to bet that it isn't that he feels any kind of way about this situation. He's just hoping that there will be some woman or women that'll be like, oh, look at he's 100% on our side. Yeah, absolutely. These are the same men that fucking, won't admit that, maybe some women should do their own shit. Like, I really, I admit, on some things I am very fucking sexist or old school or whatever. Like, fucking, football commentators, I really don't want to hear from a woman. And the reason is because women don't fucking play football. Right? I'll accept women basketball commentators because yes, there are women that have played basketball and there is the WNBA. I can accept that there are going to be commentators because you might actually know what the fuck you're talking about because you've been there and you've done that. Most of the commentators, obviously not all, but most of the commentators in the NFL were ex-football players. So they kind of know what the fuck they're talking about. And then when you have these women, it's 100%, it's fucking scripted. They're reading off a teleprompter or they're just doing like they had everything that they wanted to say fucking planned out. And I'm not saying that the men aren't also doing this, but it's easier to fucking hold a discussion when you've actually done the thing that you're fucking talking about. Right? Like if I was a mechanic, I'd be able to fucking have a conversation with a guy about the differential on a, 1967 fucking Chevy Camaro or whatever. You know, I don't. I'm not a fucking mechanic. I don't know anything about that shit. Although I can work on cars, I'm not completely fucking inept when it comes to that. But, you know, the deep discussions about it, you know, I couldn't have a deep discussion about that sort of thing. And that would be the equivalent of me, you know, joining a crowd of mechanics, right? And my only experience with cars is that I once, you know, like I watched them on TV. You know, or I once dated a girl that fucking, you know, was a mechanic or some shit. It just, you know, like, yeah, I might know some of the shit I'm talking about, but it's like my opinion, my perspective on things is kind of fucking meaningless because I haven't done it. I'm not a fucking mechanic. So me talking about these things really, it just, I don't know. I mean, maybe that's a bad fucking analogy, but I just don't want women commentators in the NFL. I'll take it in, you know, in fucking, you know, basketball, maybe even baseball. You know, I'm willing to listen. But if it's NFL, you know, I don't know. I really just can't. I just, to me, it fucking bugs me. But it is one of those things that it's very fucking minor. Should I, you know, am I like fucking boycotting the NFL because they have women fucking commentators? No, I don't care that fucking much about it. But there are just some things where it's like, you know, ladies, you really just don't fucking belong here. You know, or maybe, I don't know, maybe fucking have your own league besides the fucking lingerie fucking football league. You know, I mean, the fact that exists lets you know already that we're not interested in you know, fucking all padded up and covered up. You already kind of figured out that we just want to see you fucking naked or almost naked. Now, I'm sure that was produced by men, so I understand that it wasn't like a woman's fucking idea. Boy, I really fucking painted myself into a corner over here, didn't I? You know what? All right. I don't know. I'm a fucking idiot. You know, I admit that on some things I am fucking sexist. But I'm still a fucking, you know, I still feel like, you know, like I'm on your side when it comes to shit that I consider really fucking important. And I know that sounds very insensitive, like, oh, it's important to you. Well, yeah, I think earning the same amount of money is a lot more fucking important on whether or not you should be able to commentate a fucking football game. You know, it's about having fucking perspective. But, sorry. Oh, this is so good. It's cold. It's fucking cold now, but it's good. What else? I don't know. I don't want to make this podcast super long. What should I you know what? You know what I meant to talk about? Well, not really. Because, I mean, the last podcast, which was yesterday, you know, I meant to talk about politics. I fucking talked about politics. There was some other shit in there about, you know, my distrust of technology, but you know, in general, the podcast was about politics. My daughter, she actually fucking introduced me to a boy not too long ago, and I gotta say, I mean, it's not a boyfriend, just a friend, according to her. But you know, like this boy has a girlfriend or whatever. But I don't know, it was weird, you know. Although he was very fucking respectful. He said he was going to be, you know, he was going to come to the house because I told her, because she was like, oh, can I go hang out at the park with him or whatever, right? And I was like, you know, okay, fine. But I have to meet him first, right? And, you know, she was you know, on board with it. You know, there was no, like, pushback or anything. She was like, yeah, of course, right? Because she's a good girl. Right, I trust my daughter 100%. I don't trust boys. I trust her. You know, she says that they're friends. I believe that they're friends. But she also understood that, you know, if you're going out with a boy somewhere, I need to fucking, you know, like you need my approval first. And the only way you get my approval is if I meet the guy. Right, because I'm still very much old school when it comes to shit like that. And, you know, so she was like, all right, cool. You know, he'll be here at 5. right? Fucking 5 o'clock, he was here. So I like that. You know, he wasn't late, wasn't super early. You know, if he was like super early, I like, to me, it's like, okay, you're trying to make a good impression, right? If he was late, that's kind of like, I don't really give a fuck. But he was on time, like exactly on time. It was 5 o'clock. He was fucking here. And, he shook my hand. He was very fucking respectful. I told him, you better fucking, you better be on your best fucking behavior with my daughter. He was like, of course, very respectful kid. Didn't really put me at ease in any sort of way. But, it's like, all right, he showed up on time. He shook my hand, looked me in the eye. There wasn't like, I didn't get like a, like, like, I don't know. I didn't get a fuck. I mean, I didn't, I got a fucking vibe because he's a boy, but I didn't get like, okay, this is some fucking sneaky little fucker, like I didn't get that vibe from him. Doesn't mean I'm fucking, happy about it, or I'm just like, oh, this is fucking awesome. No. My daughter has reached that age where boys are going to start fucking, hovering around, and that shit disturbs me to no end. But it was a weird experience because I had, up until that point, my only experience with that sort of situation was I was the guy meeting a girl's father. And very rarely did it go well. I mean, it never got like fucking weird or angry or whatever. It's just I've always, if you talk to somebody that knows me, especially a woman, which you probably won't because, you don't fucking know me well enough to do that shit. But, I have sort of, I'm up to no good. I look like somebody that's up to no good all the fucking time. Right. And I think that they could see it and they could sense it because during those times, yes, of course, my goal was to, get in their pants and they fucking, of course, the fathers fucking saw it. And even with girls where it was like, that wasn't even really the number one goal or whatever. Like, they're just being fucking fathers, I had never fucking, up until this point, I'd never had any other sort of, interaction like that. Except for when I was meeting somebody's father. So it was kind of fucking surreal. It was like, oh, so this is why they looked at me like they wanted to fucking murder me. Like, I get it now. I fucking get it now. And it's disturbing, but it was a surreal fucking experience. It was like, oh, okay, so, my job officially at this point is to scare the shit out of every single dude that she brings home so that they know that, if you hurt my daughter in any fucking way, I'm going to end your life. What the fuck? Oh shit. Hold on. That was weird. Fucking plug came out of my laptop and I don't know. Anyway, so, that was a weird fucking experience. And, for anybody out there, for the fathers of daughters that haven't gone through that just yet, it's weird. The one thing is like I had thought about it. I was like, okay, so how am I going to approach this kid? Am I going to come out and just automatically be like, like growling, you better not fuck with her, sort of, am I going to be that guy? Or am I just going to be, am I going to be calm? But he's definitely going to understand that I will fucking, chop him up into pieces, sort of a thing, if he does anything, that I consider inappropriate or whatever, And I fucking went back and forth in my head, like, okay, do I be like super fucking aggressive? Like, how is that going to play out? I mean, I'm sure I can, he'll be fucking thoroughly fucking scared, but, is my daughter going to be like fucking mortified? Is she going to be upset because I took that approach? So, I decided in the end, I'm just going to be calm, but I'm going to let him know I'm fucking serious, And, it worked out, like I said, like, okay, how long are you guys gonna be gone? He said an hour. They were, I mean, he was here on fucking time. And when an hour fucking passed, she was back, Now, yeah, maybe he's like, like the fucking 2018 version of fucking Eddie Haskell. And for those of you like, who the fuck is that? It was some fucking show that I saw like a couple of times when I was a kid called Leave It to Fucking Beaver. It was like it was just ridiculous fucking television. But there was this character in there that, like when the parents were around, he was like, oh, yes, sir. And ma'am. And, and compliments and all of that shit. But then when they weren't around, he was like, a piece of shit. So yeah, this kid could, maybe he could be that. Maybe he's fucking pulling the wool over my eyes, but that's just not the fucking vibe I got from him, But it was a weird fucking experience. And so for the fathers out there that haven't quite got to that point, my suggestion, my advice is don't be the fucking, don't be the fucking whack job that's like, you have the kid come in or you go out and you got like a fucking gun in your hand or a bat or some sort of fucking weapon. Cause believe me, I considered all of those things. I considered like, okay, what's the best way I could scare the fucking shit out of this kid? But in the end, I think I did the right fucking thing. I was calm, but I was serious. And I think that that's probably the best way to go. I kind of feel like if I had done some of the shit that I was imagining in my head, that, my daughter would be fucking pissed. And if there was something between these two that I should be fucking suspicious of, it would have ended up happening behind my back. They would have just hidden every fucking thing. You know what I mean? So my advice when that day comes, just approach the situation calmly. Don't fucking play out all the crazy scenarios that you have in your head. Just calm and serious. And pay attention to things. Look at me, I'm trying to sound like I'm a fucking expert now because my daughter introduced me to one fucking kid. But, the things did fucking impress me. It was like, he said he was going to be here at a specific time and he was fucking here. He shook my hand, which I don't really put too much behind fucking handshakes. I hate fucking shaking people's hands. I don't like fucking, especially with dudes. I don't like fucking shaking hands because, you shake with your right hand, right? Most fucking people on the planet are fucking right-handed. And I have to assume that right hand is also the hand that they rub one out with. And, or when they fucking take a piss, they're holding their fucking junk with it. I'm left-handed, right? All of those things I do with my left hand, So it kind of grosses me out because it's kind of like, well, I'm now basically shaking hands with your fucking dick. I don't like the fucking handshaking, so I don't put too much emphasis on it. He did shake my hand. He looked me in my eye the appropriate amount of time. It wasn't like he was trying to fucking stare me down or anything like that. It was very fucking, copacetic. There was no fucking drama, whatever. Those are the things that I'm going to pay attention to. And obviously when they said they were going to be back, they were fucking back. Those things I pay attention to. I also have other shit that I feel like, obviously in the future that are certain expectations, right? Like I don't want, like, if the fucking kid, like when they're fucking driving, right? Like if he fucking comes and he honks the fucking horn, I know this is very fucking old school, but it's like, fuck you. Go fuck yourself. What, you're too fucking busy to park your fucking car and you're just honking at my daughter like it's, like she's a fucking, a squirrel or some shit. Like, no, fuck that. So absolute rule is if you come to pick her up, you must come to the fucking door. You don't have to come inside. You don't have to do all that shit, but you have to at least fucking, treat my daughter like, she actually means something to you. Rolling up, fucking honking your horn, that is never going to fucking fly with me. Obviously hasn't happened yet. There's no fucking way I would let her get in a car with a boy at this point anyway. But when those days come, that will be sort of my measuring stick. I'm also very old school when it comes to opening fucking the car doors and shit. You know, is it going to be a deal breaker if he doesn't fucking do it? No, because obviously I realize, there are just things that are fucking strictly old school, and they will always be old school. And if you didn't grow up with that sort of shit, then you didn't grow up with it, so it's not going to be like a big deal. But it is something that I would pay attention to if they did do it. There's just certain little things like that, But I'm actually fucking proud that, that I didn't fucking, because I considered like, okay, maybe I should greet him with a fucking shovel and let him know that I won't hesitate to fucking bury you in the backyard. That actually was one of my fucking thoughts. So I'm actually proud that, I addressed it the proper way, the way that one, wasn't all fucking nuts, and then two, it almost, it pretty much guarantees that my daughter will never have an issue with introducing me to a boy, right? Because that's the goal, right? You don't want her fucking doing shit or feeling like she has to hide it from you. You want her to be open. Same thing with your, if you have sons or whatever. My son is still very much not into girls, so it's not really, something that needs to be addressed. Or maybe he's interested in boys. I don't know. I don't give a fuck either way. He's not there, so I'll jump off that bridge when it comes to it. But, the ultimate goal, if you have a daughter, is you want her to feel comfortable about bringing these fucking guys around so that they can be fucking analyzed. That's my ultimate goal. And I feel like I passed the test. Now, what's going to happen if she happens to bring somebody that I fucking have an absolute fucking bad vibe? I don't know. I'll jump off that bridge, if and when it happens. But so far, so good. So that's my fucking advice. And, you can take it or you can go fuck yourself. I don't know. I don't give a fuck either way. Anyways, I'm going to wrap up this podcast. Hope you're having a good week thus far. It's Wednesday, middle of the fucking week. It's hump day. I really miss those commercials with the fucking camels. It's hump day. But anyway, fucking, yeah. So fucking, I hope you're having a good week and all of that other fucking horse shit. All right. Take it easy. Don't take any shit and go fuck yourself. Peace.